Splinter Cell remake loses another director, and this breaks my heart. This really hurts my soul. Yo, I know that Ubisoft has a huge reputation for being very not consumer friendly, taking advantage of consumers with the microtransactions. That is disappointing. I don't like that. However, I like Ubisoft games. I really enjoy, especially the Tom Clancy games. We're talking the Splinter Cells, the Division's one of my favorite games of all time, the Rainbow Six games, the Ghost games. I love the Tom Clancy franchise, and I like a lot of Ubisoft games. So I would love a new Splinter Cell. Oh, it would make me so happy to get a brand new Splinter Cell, a brand new Tom Clancy game, because we haven't had one in so long. And to see that it loses a director, then a new director's coming on, it just tells me that they're kind of scrambling. Maybe they're not all on the same page, and maybe the director got upset and just left. But I'd like to see a little more organization from Ubisoft. I have a lot of, I would like them to do well, although I'm kind of losing faith in them. And it loses another director. How many directors have they had, by the way? Let me scroll through here and see what kind of based on the Tom Clancy brand, Splinter Cell brings the stealth espionage action to gaming. With 6 mainline titles and a dozen novelizations, the series was a hit in the 2000s and 2010s. That's about when I was really diving into gaming, especially with the Xbox 360 in the late 2010s. Unfortunately, we last played as Sam Fisher back in 2013 with the cool yet controversial Blacklist. I love Blacklist, you guys. I really like Blacklist. Having been over a decade since the last entry, a remake of the franchise's first title was in the works. So it is a remake. It's not a brand new game, so I guess that kind of softens the blow a little bit. But I still would like a new Splinter Cell game. And I would like to see more Splinter Cell mechanics come to the Division, because the Division is very shooty, right, and very stealth cover, but it's not very stealth as far as stealth takedowns. I'd love to see stealth takedowns come into the Division. So anyway, I felt like this was kind of some unfortunate news. I'd like to see a little more stability in Ubisoft. Speaking of lacking stability, look at this. Yeah, we all know about this story right here. Halo games will be on PlayStation going forward. I guess this doesn't surprise me. It's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it goes forward. I know Xbox has been struggling for a while now, and that hurts me to see too, because I'm also an Xbox fan. But now it is interesting that they said, where did I see it? It's a huge deal. It's a long time coming. We're just super excited. Where did I see it? I was reading this article earlier. Now, Microsoft and Halo Studios have confirmed that all Halo games going forward will be on PlayStation as well as Xbox and PC. So here's what I'm confused about. All Halo games going forward. Does that mean all the new ones going forward are going to be on PlayStation? But in order to play the originals, you're going to have to go back to Xbox? Is that what that means? I don't know. If that's the case, then I guess they still have, a decent collection of Halo games that, could be on Xbox only. But I thought maybe after, after so many years, they can release it onto PlayStation. That way, if you really want the new Halos and the new Xbox exclusives, you'd have to get an Xbox, unless you wanted to play those games like 10 years later. That makes a lot more sense to me. This seems kind of like a knucklehead move on their part. But I suppose they want to have a big launch, because if they release a new Halo game and it's for all consoles and PC, it'll be their largest launch. And then they could, they can go from there. They could just, advertise our biggest game yet, So maybe they have an angle to it. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see where this goes. If they continue to hemorrhage games like this, though, they may turn into Sega, where all they're doing is just releasing their titles, Microsoft games on other consoles. Kind of like how Sonic is nowadays. Sonic will make a new game, but it'll just come out on Nintendo. So maybe Microsoft will just become a game studio, and they'll just continue making these games. If that gets them more money, then I guess I'll be happy, because I still want a new Fable. I want a good Fable. I want a new Gears of War. What else are some Xbox exclusives that we haven't seen in a while? They had a few, right? Xbox exclusives. For some reason, I can't think of any right now. I guess that means they haven't. If none come to mind other than Fable, Halo, and Gears of War, I guess I really can't think of any. Then never mind. I guess they don't have a lot of exclusives. I've always been an Xbox fan for third-party games, though. If it's a third-party game, I'd prefer to play it on an Xbox. I just like their controller better, and I like their interface better. So yeah, there's that. This last story is something that I had never seen this story until today. Check this out. Nintendo wins lawsuit against player who kept streaming pirated Switch games and taunted, "I can do this all day." Yo, I wish I was like in on this story. I wish it would have been so nice to actually watch that streamer and then get like, canned. I definitely am. It's nice to see corporations be pro-consumer. With that said, Nintendo has not been very pro-consumer lately, so I'm kind of upset with Nintendo. However, you don't just pirate their games and then stream them live and then taunt. Like, you expect Nintendo to not do something about that? I'm so glad this guy got what was coming to him. So I probably will look more into this story later. If you guys have heard of it, maybe you guys can give me the gossip about this, but I could just imagine, he's probably young too, right? Probably someone in his 20s bragging, right? Pirating all these Nintendo games and then streaming them. "I could do this all day. Look at me, I'm so great." And Nintendo comes at him with a lawsuit. They got him for a hefty sum of money too. Let me see if I can find the dollar amount down here. Yeah, here it is. Keegan is his name. After Keegan failed to respond to the deadline, he was streaming the games and he refused to stop. After he refused to respond to the deadline, the court clerk entered default against him on March 26th, excuse me, and Nintendo asked the court to make a default judgment against him for $17,500. I think, if I remember correctly when I was reading, yeah, they could have done a lot more. They could have charged him $10,000 per game, which would have been like $100,000. But they settled on that 17,000 number, and that comes from so they did charge the full amount for Mario and Luigi Brothership. They charged him 10,000, and then I guess he was playing 15 other titles that they only charged 7,000. No, they only charged $500 per title for a total of 7,500. So 7,500 for 15 games plus 10,000 for Mario and Luigi, so $17,000 total. Is it worth him getting charged 17,000? Maybe not. Maybe that's a bit excessive, but it's gonna hurt, right? Paying a $17,000 bill added onto your whatever's going on in your life is gonna be tough to take care of. But hopefully it serves him right. You don't do that. You don't pirate games and then sit there and boast about it online like a knucklehead. Lesson learned: smugglers live longer than pirates. That's like, if you're gonna pirate games, you got to be on the DL. You know what I mean? You got to do that on the down low and not sit there and flaunt it. It's kind of like what I tell my students when I'm walking around my classroom. If they're sitting at their desk and they at least have a piece of paper out with maybe, a problem started on their worksheet or whatever, or on their paper, if I'm walking by and I see that, they fooled me, right? For all I know, they're working, even though they may not be, right? So I gotta tell them, you gotta at least be able to fake it. If I walk by and your desk is just empty and you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, guess what? I figured it out. You're not working. Like, this guy needs to figure out how to play with the program here. Anyway, that was the main headlines that I wanted to talk about. Mostly, it was the Halo and the Splinter Cell that really caught my attention this week, and then this just happened to pop into my feed when I was logging on today. So I'm gonna look more into this Mario business. With that, you guys, let me close this out. Shall we dive into Final Fantasy? Let's try to make it scary, yeah?